All right, so I am I'm trying to choose my words wisely in this recording here. This is my second time, a second attempt to record this message here. But I'm going to say what I got to say because, LaRussell doesn't care how his words are, being perceived. So he should be able to take this. But, I think his actions has clearly shown him that he's not someone who can take critiques very well. I think this is insane, though, that this man has got to rally. And this is not coming from a place of jealousy, of hatred, not coming from a place of anything other than I really think this is insane behavior. I think this is cult-like behavior. That LaRussell, a man, has his mother, his clearly very loving mother, through this man organized a rally for her son, not because he was unjustly murdered in the street by the police, or unjustly murdered in the street, or just murdered in the street by senseless violence, not because he was falsely accused of something and then, given life in prison, not because he, is, sick. God forbid and all of these things happen, but, he's sick and he needed medical care and was refused medical care. None of these things, all of these things, let me just say, are reasons as to why one would throw a rally for their child. But none of these things actually happened to LaRussell. Thank God. All right? But none of these things actually happened to LaRussell. For the YouTube watchers out there, because yes, this is going to be a cross platform type of video where this is going to be both on the Earnest Thoughts podcast YouTube channel and the My Two Cents podcast. Reason, obviously, for the My Two Cents listeners out there, I've talked about LaRussell. That was last week's episode, and now we have some more developing updates. So obviously this is very fitting right here, but also this has nothing to do with the music and very much to do with a societal behavior, or just like I said, like politics, pop culture, life, society. That's the Earnest Thoughts podcast. That's discussions, and this right here is teetering on both, obviously. So therefore, there's going to be situations where both are going to be uploaded. It's going to be uploaded on both channels. For those who are on the YouTube and you want to get the backstory and my thoughts on all of it, check the link in the description box below, the My Two Cents podcast. That's where I talk about that stuff. That's also where I give my thoughts on music, okay? And for the My Two Cents podcast listeners and video watchers out there, if you want to know my thoughts on stuff outside of the music, go click the link in the description box below. Again, the first link in the description box below, and that will take you to the YouTube channel where I usually talk about things like this. All right, now on to the actual topic at hand. All right, so LaRussell. For those who don't know, I'm giving you a backstory on a little bit of backstory. All right. Again, you want to know my thoughts? Hit the link in the description box. And if you're already on the My Two Cents podcast feed, just go to scroll on the channel. LaRussell, he deleted his social media accounts because of the backlash he got for the song Heaven Sent and all the other stuff, right? He's been doing interviews after interviews after interviews and, explaining his case. He's made videos as well. None of what he's saying has gotten people to let up on the backlash that they've been giving him, okay? So it seemed very much quiet up until this rally happened, which happened a few days ago from when I'm recording this, right? Probably from when you're listening to this as well. But the rally, his mom decides to throw a rally for her son LaRussell. Okay? And again, just to reiterate, this man has not been killed by the police. He has not been killed by senseless gang violence or senseless, just hood dispute. He hasn't been done wrong by the system per se, as like direct, you're going to prison for some fuck shit that he didn't do. He's not, again, denied any type of medical help or anything else of that nature due to either racism or whatever BS reason they would deny him the medical help that he would deserve if he is in needing of that. What happened to dude was he got a bunch of backlash for something he said on the internet by people who said things on the internet. Now, I know there are folks out there who took it to dirty places, like they made things worse than it really needed to be. But then I want to say all of that does not discredit those who genuinely disagreed with his statement, genuinely disagreed with the song, genuinely did not like the song's message or understood what he was saying and just disagreed with what he was saying within the song. None of that ugly backlash, which, yeah, them folks, them bots, them whoever's, they need to they shut the fuck up. But not everybody. Excuse me. Not everybody who disagreed or had something that wasn't agreeable with LaRussell needs to shut the fuck up. And holding a rally for somebody because they essentially got ratioed is cult-like behavior. This is, and it's unfortunate to see this happening because, as I've noted, and if you listen to the My Two Cents podcast listeners, y'all know, as I've noted, I support LaRussell, or supported LaRussell. I like dude, but I'm not gonna lie. This is side-eye behavior, right? This is type of stuff that get me to side-eye you. But I support dude. I like the moves that he's made business-wise. I love what he has done for his community to the point where they feel strongly in supporting him. And there are videos from this rally. All right. The reason why this is the second recording and not the first one is because in those videos, there's music being played when there's people talking, but there's music in the background being played. And my thing is, well, for those who create content, that if there's music being played in your video and your content, that's trouble for you. You don't own the right to the music and all this other stuff, so you cannot play said music. In order for me to react to the actual videos, that would have to be something like a Patreon type of exclusive content. I don't have a Patreon. Patreon doesn't fuck with me. They won't allow me to keep an account. I don't know where else, or I have some ideas maybe of where else I can create exclusive content like that. I actually do have an idea. I can do that on Substack, but I didn't think to, do that. If that's something you want, again, that's going to have to be a Substack exclusive. But as far as just the stuff that you might see, and even I might, if I don't forget, I might leave videos in the description box of the actual rallies or people at these rallies speaking, so you can see for yourself. But I don't, and the reason why I say I got to choose my words wisely, because it's like Yeah, do I absolutely still believe this is a cult like behavior? Yeah. You have one man, the cult leader, LaRussell, who, like many cult leaders, has a very huge ego, damn near narcissistic, if not very much a narcissist, can never admit to fault. Although, again, with this situation here, I don't want to necessarily use the words wrong or right. Um, but even with backlash, even if it's not a wrong or right type of thing, any type of backlash, cult leaders don't like that. People who have raving fans, fanatics, they don't want to hear any opinions that any opinions, any stances that go against that of their own. And to see this, to hold a rally for this, yeah, this is something I would see a cult leader would do. Getting backlash or hates, getting pushback from people who simply just believe differently. A cult leader would be somebody who believes that they are doing good for not just the people within their immediate circle, but everybody. And because of that, they're doing good for the community, or they have done some good for, even if it's just their immediate circle, people around them. They believe because they've done good things for folks that they're above reproach, they're above judgment, they're above, again, any type of disagreement. Anytime someone speaks about them, it should be praising them, speaking positively, speaking glowingly. It should never be anything else. No one should ever disagree, and no one should ever have to hold them accountable for doing wrong, or at least disagree with them. Let me just say that, okay? Also, cult leaders tend to have blind followers who don't know what the fuck they talking about. Let's be real. I'm referencing the videos of the people out there who attended this rally, and these people do not seem like the brightest bulbs in the universe. I'm just gonna keep it real. Like they seem very much brain dead. But again, I don't want to completely judge their intelligence based off of the clips that I have seen that I'm not sharing here, simply because, once again, they have music playing in the clips, and I'm not trying to get any type of DMCA or YMCA strike, whatever the hell it's called. Whatever it's called, I'm not trying to get stricken, right? But yeah, it doesn't seem pretty bright. And they're not making any sense, and they speak like someone who is under a spell, or a part of a cult. All right. The irony is, his mom got on the megaphone and she spoke, and she talked about how her son is being prosecuted in a way because of his free speech, while your son is, and the people who, and yourself and the people who follow your son, blindly are following your son, are out here hating people for practicing their free speech. It's just very much ironic. And again, it's this idea of, I can never do wrong, or I can never be judged, but someone else who does the same thing, because they're not me, they are wrong, and they are to be judged. It's weird. It's very much cult like behavior here. Hence the title you see with, LaRussell is the new Jim Jones. Again, I'm not talking about Dipset Jim Jones. I'm talking about the cult leader, for those who didn't get the reference. But yeah, I wanted to add those points because that was stuff that I feel as though I left out of the main video that was just as important as the points that I've made. So let's continue on. That are in cults would behave when their leader faces some type of backlash, and that's wild to me. That's wild to me. That's the stuff that says this is crazy. This is crazy. Ain't no way in hell to where, yeah, again, I don't agree with everyone who disagreed or their approach. Let me put it that way. I don't agree with the approach everyone some people, not everyone, but some people decided to take in vocalizing their disagreement with LaRussell. But is it appropriate to hold a rally for dude? Cause traffic, disrupt freaking travel plans of people or travel routes of people, the noise disturbance, maybe the possible other pollution out there. It was all that really, like, it might seem like I'm joking, I'm not. Was all that really worth it for somebody who simply just got backlash on the internet? I can tell y'all right now, LaRussell, if he can't handle that, then he wouldn't dare know how to handle me or handle like what I have dealt with. There's been tons of times on the internet throughout my entire, I guess, career of a content creator, both as a podcaster and even before I had the My Two Cents podcast or the Earner's Thoughts podcast, and it was just exclusively YouTube channel content. The backlash I still get today. The comments I still get today. I'm still here on the internet. That's number one. Number two, if people were like, justice for Ernie, like, or let's hold a rally, I'd tell them all to get off the fucking crack. Stop sipping the Kool-Aid. It's just niggas who disagreed with me. Relax. And as dumb as I might think their disagreements are, if I believe their disagreements are dumb ones, I don't believe they have a right to, I do believe that they have a right to vocalize that. His mom getting on a loudspeaker, and again, I'm referencing the video clips of this rally because there's music played in the background that I can't play in these videos, right? Because I don't want to get my shit taken down. But his mom is saying things like he had free speech and he was practicing his free speech. Cool. So do the other people. Why is it that your son is the only one allowed to have free speech? That sounds like some cult leader type of authoritarian type of shit to me. Only you and your son are allowed to have free speech, and the only time other people are allowed to have free speech is if they agree with your son. That's cult-like behavior. So people can say, oh, you just starting shit, you taking it there and all this other stuff. And when I say he's the new Jim Jones for those folks out there, I'm not talking about the dusty diplomat. I'm talking about the cult leader Jim Jones, for those who know history. That's where you see from the title. But this is nuts, y'all. I don't want to keep talking about this. This is nuts. Or at least I don't have much else to say other than this is crazy. That this man, and it's still clear to me from clips I've seen from him doing interviews, it's still clear to me that he still feels the way that he feels, but also he's very, it's not in a sense of like he's unwavering in a sense. When I say he's unwavering, I mean this in a bad way. Excuse me. Meaning that he's not even willing to hear why other people disagree. It's just no, because they're stupid. That's what that's the mindset of a cult leader, and that's the most upsetting thing about it. It's not the fact that you have a bunch of people out there who, because his mom made a social media post and flyer online about it, that they're gonna up and follow and do that, although it's worrisome too. But the simple fact that this dude that I'm a fan of, or that I genuinely like, and I think he I could be wrong in thinking he's a good person, but someone that I did root for is behaving in this way. I can't. That shit doesn't slide to me, man. It doesn't slide. I'm not gonna be silent about it either. You know, when he was behaving in a manner that I loved and enjoyed, yes, I supported the hell out of LaRussell. The My Two Cents podcast listeners will tell you. If you're listening on the My Two Cents podcast, you know the big ups that I've given this man. The YouTube watchers, you might not know because if you don't follow me on social media, where I've given him his props many times. If you don't follow me on the My Two Cents podcast, where again I've given him props, you probably don't know that. But this is a man that I've celebrated. But I am not a cult member of anybody. And this type of behavior is yikes. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I just had to react to the rally. It's crazy, y'all. It's crazy. All right.